Season 1 of Andor had critics calling it the best Star Wars series yet. Now, Season 2 of the Emmy-nominated series returns April 22nd. Follow Cassian Andor as he embarks on a path from a rebel to a hero. Starring Diego Luna and from creator Tony Gilroy, writer of Michael Clayton and The Bourne Identity. Season 2 of Andor is streaming April 22nd, only on Disney+.
Business taxes. We're stressing about all the time and all the money you spent on your taxes.
This is my bill?
Now Business Taxes is a TurboTax small business expert who does your taxes for you and offers year-round advice at no additional cost, so you can keep more money in your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com/business. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing. It's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
Hi, this is Javon, your Blinds.com design consultant.
Oh, wow. A real person.
Yep. I'm here to help with everything from selecting the perfect window treatments to...
Well, I've got a complicated project.
No problem. I can even help schedule a professional measure and install. We can also send you samples fast and free.
I just might have to do more.
Whatever you need.
So the first room we're looking at is for...
Shop Blinds.com now and get up to 45% off with minimum purchase. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
I knew it. Another Hurrdat Media production.
Hi, Chantel.
Hey, Roxanne.
How are you? How are you feeling?
Hey, cousins.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
Well,
it's such a weird question when people ask that, because it's like, what do you tell people? Like, do you want to tell them the truth? Do you not? Do you want to sound annoying? Do you not want to sound annoying? Do you want to sound grateful? Like, it's such an annoying question sometimes.
You were up late last night.
I know, because why? Because I took a nap.
Oh, okay. That's the worst thing you could do.
No. Like, I need them. Like, when I'm working and I come back, I'm just so like emotionally drained that I just need, even if it's like for an hour, I need to nap.
I know. I remember that you were like napping around 8 p.m. and I was calling you to do a podcast, and Jacob's like, I was like, she's not answering because she's napping. He's like, why is she napping so late? I'm like, I don't know. But you were like, even if it's like a small nap, I need it.
Yeah, because it just helps me like be able to do some like housework like after. At least like if I wake up, then I can just do my dishes. But when I come home, like I have no energy for it. So it's like either I'm just watching TV or let me just actually take a nap.
Yeah. So Elle is obviously 1 year old. And I am getting rid of like, I'm going to put a lot of things away. I'm putting away, like just whatever.
Are you really giving away stuff, or are you like low key thinking to yourself, like, let me save this just in case? Or are you actually going to give me this?
No, I'm really going to give it to you because like, let's just say, which it's not going to happen, but let's just say it did. I mean, you're going to give it, I'd be like, hey, do you have this? I don't know. But like, you know, like my Bibijourn, which is like my main thing that I've used, and her activity stuff that she actually like used, and her walker and all that stuff. I texted Chantel today and I was like to her, hey, like, do you want this stuff? And she was like, yeah, I literally want everything that you have. Like, just give it to me, which of course, like, why would she go and get a new one? Like, these are all good things that people use. And I sent that to Jacob and I was like to Jacob, end of an era. And I put a sad face. And do you want to know what he said back to me?
I don't, because he's gonna piss me off. So like, no, I don't want to know.
He
But
said,
go ahead, tell us.
he said, don't make me cry. I will get you pregnant. I promise. We're not done.
No,
And then
absolutely, you're done. Like, you guys, she's done.
he's like, we're not done, but give to Chantel or list on Marketplace or throw away. I want to declutter the storage rooms. And I was like, bro, that's not happening. And I was like, yeah, I will. But I was just like, this guy is so crazy.
No, I mean, like, I told you, like, I was like, you know, maybe when Elle's 5 years old and you're like, I want another one, like, go get another one. But right now, like, you're done.
Yeah, no, totally done.
So I'm getting your baby Bjorn. So let me rate that on my list.
Yeah, I was. Well, then what was I gonna do? Just hold on to it? I mean, like,
I don't know. You didn't send me what you just sent me, like that play thing, which like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
that,
like,
but
you're not gonna when you're done using. I mean, you're gonna have like multiple kids, so it is what it is. But yeah,
no, just because like you guys, I'm like literally writing down what everyone's giving me so that like I know what I need to buy.
Yeah. Well, so I wanted to get into something that is crazy. I've never seen a producer really do this. I've seen producers talk, but not to this extent or not be as articulate and sound like, you know, a really good human. I don't know. So Patrick McDonald, he's a producer of Vanderpump Rules. He's a producer of OC and Beverly Hills. He literally did like last season's Beverly Hills, last season's OC. And he came out this past week and he was like, I'm going to speak about my experience after I was blacklisted. He ended up joining OnlyFans because these people don't get paid shit, dude. So he ended up joining OnlyFans and he thought that maybe there might be an issue or maybe they would have an issue. But then he also like thought they were going to be open about it. But he
joined OnlyFans to actually make money or like.
Yeah, to make money. Like he's on OnlyFans. Yeah.
Okay.
So, he actually made a good point, but I'll talk about that and you tell me what you think. But so basically he does this video where he talks about the housewives. He talks about what showrunners do, how overworked they are, how they don't get paid enough. And I want to reference something that I thought was interesting in an interview Melissa Gorga recently did. She said how no matter what, Bravo has to make a decision that's different than what they have now because every one of them were calling producers over every last thing that was happening outside of the show. And that these people, we've said this, they don't get paid enough to dealing with like housewives blowing them up saying, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. I think also Tamra Judge is like one of those housewives that constantly does that. Every single person on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, with the exception of Jennifer Aiden, was doing that. So anyway, so he ends up going on OnlyFans on the side and he's like, okay, I'm thinking it'll be fine. Because he gives an example of Watch What Happens Live. And he gives an example of them having people in the adult industry as a bartender and people who are on OnlyFans that are on the show, like Denise Richards. They just gave her a show. She's on OnlyFans, so's her daughters. And then Larsa Pippen is on OnlyFans. So he's thinking, okay, like that shouldn't be a big deal. He also pointed out, we always talk about this, how he's watching how much they are overworked and how influencers literally are making triple them doing way less. You know, he does bring that up. And he says, like, you know, I gave everything to the show the last 5 years. He did not at all come across as like victim mentality, by the way, because I know sometimes like we're like, well, maybe they were the problem or whatever. No, he doesn't. He literally does not come across like that at all. He says there was incredible pressure from higher up. So when we think about, you know, producers and how much pressure, you know, or how much pressure they give housewives, he essentially confirms what I've always known, that it's coming up from their bosses on how to make a show better. So when producers are like, you know, this is boring, today's boring, like, what can we do? Like, what can you say? Like, it's because like they probably had a call that morning where people were like in their ears saying, nothing's been interesting so far. Like we need more, you know, and that's how that it works in corporate world too. He also reveals that he was on a reality show prior to producing these shows. So he knows how it is to be on a reality show and then how to produce one. And I thought that was interesting because, he has both perspectives.
Yeah, like that's makes you probably the best because you know how they're feeling and you know how to kind of get what they need from them and just like all that kind of stuff.
He says the first few years he was blinded of the toxicity that came with Real Housewives.
Wow.
Because of just the excitement of being part of the show and being in the end, which I can so see so many people being like that because it is cool. Like I work with the Real Housewives. I know what happens. I create the show that everyone's talking about all over social media. I don't agree with what's kind of happening, but like I'm a part of this. I can see why people would be blinded to that.
And it's almost like it's like not my life, and it's like this is what they're doing. But then like it's
also a moral thing, Chantel. Like if you see something happening where it's bad, and they're gonna take the fall for it, you know, it's a moral. Like it's like okay, I mean, even Chantel with us, like sometimes we talk about certain things, or we've gotten tea that could completely destroy people's life. And we've gotten proof of it and won't put it out there because it's like, for what? Like, what are we gaining? Yeah, we'll get clicks and views and whatever, but like, that's not like what we're out here to do, like at all. So, I don't know. He says that he would see showrunners who were all alone in their outside life. I guess it like goes like producer, executive producer, then showrunner. And he's like, I kind of like looked at their life and they had nothing outside of the show. And he was questioning whether he wanted to be in that situation. And then he said he noticed how poorly cast and crew were treated. He talks about morals. And he says he started questioning things when a show was centered on someone's sexuality, their coming out journey, and said he thought it was gross how they were trying to expose it. He claims that the entity of the TV show was digging into this person's sexuality in a way that is salacious. Then producers encourage cast members to ask about someone's sexuality to put them on the spot. And I'm obviously thinking, okay, he's talking about Kyle Richards. And we do see Garcelle, continue to ask about this. And it sounds like it's because producers are pushing that agenda to like a Garcelle saying, you should ask about this. You should ask about this. And then she takes the fall for it.
Yeah, which I always felt that was 100% the case. Because like, and then Garcelle's just doing her job, where she's like, we're on the show. Like, I do want to come back next season. Like, let me be the one to do it then. And maybe she is curious though too, but still like there's a lot of pressure on her to do it.
Yeah. It's not like she cares that much, but like she does understand that they are filming a show. And so, yeah, like you think it's 100% about Kyle and Garcelle, right? I mean, he just filmed.
Yeah. But like, okay. So you said that when did he do Vanderpump? Cause like maybe we could do Vanderpump too.
He did. I don't know actually when.
Okay.
Vanderpump, but
but if it's definitely, if not, it's definitely Kyle.
Well, whose sexuality was trying to be exposed on Vanderpump?
I don't know if it was exposed, but it's like they were just so like open about it, made sure people were open about it.
No, I think he's talking about Kyle and them. I mean, yeah, it just makes sense. He worked on that last season. He says that he would see people at an executive level talk to these cast members who they have established real relationships with, and he would see them be so compassionate when they're talking to the cast member. Then they would, once the cast member would walk away, they would completely change their tune.
Ew, like I know exactly probably what they do.
Yeah. And then he said, and they spoke about this person and what they're going through with a lack of care. And we've been in this industry too, like where we're reporting on these housewives for so long, especially me since like 2012. I've met housewives, I've gone to events, and it's interesting because the housewives do get easily manipulated where they're like, no, but they care about me. They think that, where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're telling you to, they're telling you like that it's okay and that this is blah, blah. I'm like, but it's not okay. And they're like, no, like they care about me. Like we're friends. And I'm like, dude, they're also like creating a show. So these housewives get manipulated. And I think as the seasons progress, it's kind of like, I need to do these things or I won't have a job. And I now rely on this money because I now am divorced and I have no other income.
1,000%, which is just sad.
Yeah. He said that when he would see housewives, like crew members do that with housewives, he's like, man, if they do that with housewives, then they would throw me under the bus and do the same thing. He reacted, by the way, to all of the backlash of Garcelle online. And he says, you really learn about someone when you ask a crew member who they like to shoot with. And he says that all of the crew loved shooting with Garcelle. When they found out that morning that they'd be working with Garcelle, they were so ecstatic and happy.
Wow.
Yeah, because she treated them well. And he's like, they did not feel that way with any other cast members. So he does say,
dude, that's like such tea, because it's like, that's like when you know their real personalities. And like, I would want to be that person that they would want to shoot with. Like, I'm such a people pleaser that like, I'd be so sad if I wasn't chosen for that.
He said he's proud of Garcelle for prioritizing her life over the show. And that's exactly what she did. Like, she would probably come back next season and they would all, come for her. And she's like, I don't need this. So why am I going to do this? So he does say, like, I'm really proud of her for that. And what I thought was interesting was he says that he found adult entertainment less invasive than Real Housewives, because he says, which I know this is like a lot, but he says with adult entertainment, at the end of the day, he's like, you're pleasuring people. And he's like, this has been like a whole thing for so long. And he's like, Real Housewives is all based about conflict, possibly moving forward, but then getting back into that conflict. Like, you just want bad things to happen at the end of the day. What do you think about that?
Wait, so he's comparing the two, or he's saying that it's better because now he's like feeling good. He's feeling good that he's pleasing people.
No, he's just saying, like, I find adult entertainment less invasive than the Real Housewives. He's not saying, because he's saying, like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you are pleasing people, and it's like people like to be pleased. And then he's saying with Real Housewives, it's just all about conflict. And he's like, that's the difference with both. Like, you're just trying to create conflict. Like, you want crazy shit to happen.
Yeah, but I think sometimes you have to think of the end result. So like, I would rather, if I was him, I'd rather create conflict than doing what he's doing.
No, I don't like think, I get what he's saying. I don't think he should. I mean, I would never do what he's doing, but I don't think he should like have lost a job over that if it's something he's doing on the side.
No,
and
I think that's so crazy that they would do that, because it's like, as long as it doesn't interfere with what he's actually doing and like his job performance, like, why do people care what people do on the side? I'll never understand that.
Right. And it's like,
it's not a conflict of interest. It's not like he's doing like another show on the side. He's doing his own thing,
like a paid service. And it's not like he's promoting himself as a Real Housewife producer gets down and dirty. Like, no, it's not like that.
Exactly.
So that's my whole thing with that.
For sure. No, I agree with that. Like, it's not like, it's like, oh, if he wanted to go clean a house on a Saturday and be a cleaning man, like, would they say something to him? No.
Right. He does say he doesn't think Bravo is aware of how volatile the working conditions that the producers have to face are. He says on one cast trip, he was making $1,000 a week, and he was trying to physically stop a housewife from fighting another housewife with a pole. And he says the show is like stressful enough on top of dealing with added showrunner who has unrealistic expectations. He says the co-executive producers are always having to deal with what the showrunners did wrong, because they always go too far. So they have to like de-escalate the situation.
Oh my God. Who do you think the pole in the vacation was?
I don't know. Maybe one of our listeners will know.
I know you guys have good memories. We don't.
Yeah, we don't. And I thought about it too, because on New Jersey, remember the baseball, when they all went to the baseball game, and then you would see the showrunner running to each of them,
yeah,
telling them like what to do and all that stuff. So yeah, he then and I remember too, Jennifer Aiden Chantal had told us, what did she say? She told us, I'm trying to think.
Like the showrunners?
No, when Teresa was throwing the Tulum party, she said that I don't know if it was the producers, but she said that the people were like saying, this party's boring. Like, come on, let's bring something to it. This party's boring.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Siki used to tell us that too, that like there would be a dinner, like that the dinner where like the cake, so you know where she threw the cake, they like whispered it to her ear like, this is boring, so it's like, do something or we're gonna be here. And like they were at dinner for like 5 hours, so she's like, let me just throw the damn cake, or someone threw the cake because they're just like, let me get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I know, it's so crazy. He does and I also thought like it was interesting with him saying that he doesn't think Bravo is aware about what happens, but I think I did kind of write this though, but him saying that, like, yeah, that's fair. But I also think Bravo doesn't want to know what's happening, for a reason. So I don't know if you like get the same thing from that, but I don't know.
Where was this on the podcast, by the way?
No, it wasn't a podcast. He was doing it on Twitter.
Oh.
He did like a whole video.
Wow.
Yeah. So he then lists like what needs to be changed at Bravo. And he says, you need to stop overworking your producers to exhaustion, and says the amount of pressure put on producers is truly insane. He says with Vanderpump Rules, people loved working on the show because there was great leadership and producers weren't overworked there. But on The Real Housewives, it's a different story.
That's so odd to think about. Like, why?
I know. I think it just, they had better leadership and better control. And it's like, when you do have like better leadership and better control, you want to mimic that and say, how can we get that elsewhere?
But wouldn't it like, and for his case, like he's working for the same production company basically for all three then?
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay. So like maybe it could have been a different production company versus the other.
Yeah, like that's not true. They're not all the same. So, but he does, like, he compliments like how amazing Vanderpump Rules. He said that showrunners expect producers to be at a cast room at on cast trips, like at 8 a.m. And then they expect them to still work at 2 a.m. Then keep in mind, he did throw the number 1,000 a week. So it's like, wait, what?
I know. It's like crazy, like how much people would be willing to do stuff just to get their name, like a resume builder and all those things. Like you literally work like a dog.
And because of the excitement, like the excitement of being part of the show and saying, I produce that show, like I produce this, like how cool is that? I mean, I get it. He says on one travel day, they flew 22 hours. And he's like, just so you know, like flying 22 hours with equipment, everything, this is not like a luxury. This is like part of the job. So it's not like me relaxing. And he's like, and think about you being the only one with 7 other housewives and making sure that everything's good with them and you're the only producer. And he's like, and then you finally get to your hotel, you're making sure that they're settled. And then all of a sudden you get a call that says, all right, meet at the lobby. Let's start rolling of them going somewhere. And he's like, that's crazy. He's like, you have no idea how many people that I had to console crying when it came to segment producers in countries, because there's just pressure everywhere. He's like, even when it comes to like finding the best biscuit shop that looks pretty and, like someone higher up yelling at them saying like, no, this isn't good enough. He's like, it's never that serious that this producer is sitting here crying because you don't feel like this shop looks pretty or good enough.
That really it's just like.
Get ready for the Championship Omaha, presented by Sunburst Communication. June 12th at Quarry Oaks Golf Club in Ashland. It's not just a golf tournament, it's Omaha's premier corporate golf showdown. 2-player teams, no handicaps, and the chance to crown the top corporate team. Premium hospitality, elite networking, and an unforgettable experience. Don't miss out. Call 402-333-7620 for more details.
Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can feel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. Lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals. Based on a randomized, controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto, results will vary depending on a diet and exercise. This works so well for me as a busy mom of 4 children, where I don't have to actually do anything but heat and eat. And the best part is, it's so flavorful and delicious. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/TRH50 off and use code TRH50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code TRH50 off at factormeals.com/TRH50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
We're shipping Easter gifts with a rapid-fire round of questions. Ready?
Yes. My gift. Can you pack it?
Yep.
Ship it?
Yes.
Guarantee it?
Of course.
Oh, send gift baskets?
For sure.
Protect electronics? Dog-proof it? Return it if they hate it?
Yes, no, and yeah.
Are you the UPS store?
Hey, we have a winner!
Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Visit a store today.
So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Fresh kicks, spring tops, new dresses. There's always a score.
I mean, the denim section is unreal.
Why do I rack? All the dresses. I always find something amazing.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to find can't-miss deals on all the spring things. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
It's mind-boggling because you don't really think of that as an end consumer, like watching it. You don't think about them at all, and really like and what it takes to like really produce all of that. So it's like it really is such an art.
Yeah.
Like they deserve a lot. They really do.
He points out that the camera and crew are carrying so much equipment. They'll be holding onto equipment for 4 hours. And health and wellness is important. And even if someone is trying to go on a break, they don't care.
How?
So,
like, isn't there laws? Like, how are they
no,
allowed
he
to do
said
this?
it's like a union thing. So they don't have laws and stuff. Yeah. And he was like saying how like there would be people like carrying equipment for hours and hours. And like it was their break time. They haven't eaten nothing. But like you have like a showrunner or someone saying, no, we need you for this scene. Like, look what's happening. We need you. And he's like, it's an abuse of power. And I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit. Then he talks about the loggers. These are people who transcribe each scene and then they summarize it and then they send it off to Bravo for approval to be like, we were on this cast trip. Here's what, like they have to transcribe like all the scenes of like what happened today, but then they have to summarize it and send it over to Bravo to see if Bravo is interested in it. Yeah. And
but like, what if they aren't? Then what are they going to do? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah, well, that's their job to like make sure that they catch something. And it's funny because I was in contact with someone inside the show who told me about loggers and how like there's so much filming that happens. And let's say a show could film something that was good, but maybe like a logger doesn't even care about that, housewife or something. And maybe it would make that housewife look good. This is like what someone had told me. And they were like, maybe it would make that housewife look good. They are sending like a summary to Bravo. So they don't have to send that. And then they just don't have that unless like a housewife's like, yeah, this happened, yada, yada, yada. And then they can bring it back. But
wow.
Yeah, so they have like a lot of control. So what they do is, again, they transcribe, put it in summary, then they send it to Bravo to review. But they obviously can't get everything. So they're overworked and I'm sure they miss things. And he says the logger position should be like an associate producer, but they won't give them that title because then they have to pay them more. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Dirty, always corruptions in all these
I
businesses.
know. And all these businesses, like, oh my gosh, corporate everywhere. It doesn't matter. And then he says at cast trips, they have to log everything.
Like,
and
why is it so hard to give people like a good career life balance? Like, why?
Yeah. He says at cast trips, they'll have to log everything. Then they'll go into their hotel room and stay up until 4 a.m. putting the summary together to send then to Bravo.
Wow.
He said that Bravo should be reaching out to loggers, and he's like, I challenge you guys to ask if they're overworked. And he says the network is literally never around. So during cast trips, during season finales, during big parties, Bravo doesn't bring someone from the network. And he's like, I would encourage Bravo to send an HR executive to locations, especially cast trips, to ensure the cast and crew are being treated fairly and getting rest time.
Yeah, because like that's a big deal. Even like you guys, even obviously we don't know the laws. Maybe it's this law for the below deck. Like we see how they absolutely have to always take a 6-hour sleep time. Like you can't like even if nothing's done, they have to write it down when they went to sleep because or like they'll get shit done, but they have to write down when they sleep because that's when they'll wake up. Like it has to be 6 hours. So it's like even though that sounds crazy because you're working 18 hours, but and I think they get a break in between that 18 hours, but still like how are these cast members not, or these like people behind the scenes not able to get that?
Yeah. So again, this is Patrick, and he was a producer for the last season of Beverly Hills and Orange County. He says one thing that Bravo should absolutely change is telling housewives how they should feel. He says, quote, there were so many times that I would arrive to a scene and a housewife would tell me, I know I'm supposed to feel appreciated, but I really don't feel that. And then Patrick is like, why do you feel like, he would tell the housewife, why do you feel like you need to respond that way then? And then he would find out from the housewife, well, the executive producer, it told me to react that way. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, it's
See,
doing
like that's where it becomes fake then.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He says it's such a disservice to do. He's like, because then like the next day they'll film and you'll see a housewife act completely different because her real feelings come out. And then she comes across as she's flip-flopping, but it's like, no, it just was because she had the executive producers yesterday and the showrunners in her ear. And he's like, it just makes bad TV. And he's like, a good producer will ask a housewife how they feel. And if the housewife doesn't know, then they'll talk it through to figure out how they feel. And he's like, a bad producer will tell them how they should feel. And we've seen that so much. He then says what happens is if a producer convinces a housewife to feel or act a certain way, and let's say the housewife does follow their direction, he's like, the next day I just said that the housewife will do the scene and like a flip-flopper. He says the executive producers don't have your best interest when they are telling you how to feel. And he says that most don't even have your best interest in general. I mean, he just gave that example of how you turn around and this is what they say. And his biggest lesson at the end was to, live for him. He's like, I realize, do not pour yourself into a company that will cast you aside so quick, because they just didn't give him a call back. So once, Beverly Hills was the last one he worked on, and he just didn't get a call to join Orange County this season. And so Beverly Hills was the last one, and he's like, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Don't work your ass off. Like, and we've always said this, Chantel. Everyone is replaceable. So make your family
all, but then don't give them your soul. Don't give them work hard because you care and you whatever, but don't give them your soul. Like, don't let them leave you and then you feel like an empty person inside. Like, that's such a shitty thing. Like, that's why I can't stand when there's good companies to good people. It's like, no wonder they stay. Like, they stay for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because he would have stayed. Like, if they asked him back, guess what? Even though with all the craziness, he would have stayed.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's damn, it's like but hindsight's 2020. So obviously when you're out of something, then you're like, holy shit, what was I just in? But it's like they live, it's like the adrenaline or something of this job and wanting that as your, again, in your resume and being able to say that I work on these shows, it's like they're willing to stay.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many strikes, because you have to get a group of people to come out and say no. That's where the writer's strike happened. These writers were so underpaid, and they came out in Hollywood and they're like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. And I do think it's interesting because he would have stayed had none of this happened. But then all of a sudden when you get burned, you're like, okay, all this is bullshit anyways. And I've always known this. So it was obviously meant to happen. But obviously, listen, in the beginning of any career that you do, you are going to have to work your ass off. So that I understand, you might have to overwork to get to where you want to be. That's just how life works. But it sounds like everything that we've always really known, and it sounds like what happens is they're really pressured to create a good show. And they put pressure on these people. And again, because these housewives are scared to get fired or whatever it is, they do listen. And it's it's just sad because the housewives, for the most part, do take all the, shit from it. I mean, think about Tamara Judge. Maybe someone's in her ear. I don't know, but maybe I'm giving that too much credit. But I'm just saying, because I don't think she'll listen. But who knows? People know that people will do anything to create a show and maintain this paycheck.
Yeah. No, this is so interesting.
I know. I was literally
so interesting. I love behind the scenes stuff, you guys, for anything, give us how to write a song, behind the scenes stuff always interests me.
I know there was, and I've tried to in the past reach out to specific producers and get them to talk, but then they're all so nervous to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So annoying, but yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope that you guys found that interesting, and I want to gather your thoughts on it too. And
I love that. It was very interesting. It's kind of what we kind of knew, but he gave the examples that we didn't know. So it's wow, now when we watch, we're going to see, especially cast trips, that's so eye-opening.
Yeah. Hopefully we hear more on all that stuff. So to be continued, but
guys, there's someone mowing my lawn, which I had no idea about. And he just got stuck.
Oh my God.
Tractor, and he's been literally for the past 15 minutes trying to get out, and I feel so bad because I'm just in here, but I don't know what he's gonna do.
Do you want to go help him?
No, I'm pregnant. What can I do?
Oh, okay. Well, what do you mean oh yeah, you can't push it. You're right.
Let me go ask him though. Once we get off of this, I'm gonna go ask him if he needs something.
All right, go ask.
Okay.
All right. Well, have a great day. Bye, guys.
Bye, VIPers.